Welcome back. We are going to go over the focus questions numbers 4 through 6 for the narrative life of Frederick Douglass. Number 4. Informational texts blend facts and details about events, individuals, and ideas. Each of these details interact and combine in a text, often resulting in a cause and effect relationships. Trace the cause and effects relationships in the narrative life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, and how they result in Douglass feeling tormented with a sense of my wretched condition. Highlight textual evidence that supports your answer. Okay, so basically, this is asking us to trace the cause and effect relationships. So, from the beginning of the text, he's a young boy and he has food. And so he uses this food, his bread, to it's here in the text to interact with the white children in his neighborhood. So the cause is the having the food, and the effect is being able to learn to read from the white children. Okay, so now that effect becomes a cause. Learning to read from the white children means that he is able to read the Columbian orator. So now we have another cause and effect. Learning to read means that he could read the Columbian order. Reading the Columbian order now becomes a cause because he read many books, but it's in the Columbian order that he now is able to understand the evils of slavery. Okay, and now understanding the evils of slavery, which is in these paragraphs, here leads to the fourth paragraph where he becomes tormented by his situation. And so we can see through evidence of the text a chain of events, cause effect. The effects becomes the cause effect, cause effect. And so that's a chain of events in the text that help us understand how he finally is despairing over his wretched condition. Okay, focus question 5. Douglass frequently uses figurative language, and specifically certain figures of speech to help readers understand his situation in vivid and dramatic ways. Identify the figure of speech Douglass uses in the third paragraph. So as you know, I prepared a little bit and I highlighted some of them. What does it mean? What does it mean? Why is my voice cracking? What does it mean, and in what way does it indicate an important turning point in his life? Highlight textual evidence that supports your answer, and write a brief annotation to explain it. All right, if you look at paragraph 3, in this line, the documents that he read gave tongue to interesting thoughts. All right, so basically, gave tongue means to speak, and he's basically saying these documents spoke, and we know that that is called personification because the document is not a living thing, so it can't talk. And what does that mean? It means it gave tongue to interesting thoughts. So he was able to think these thoughts. They brought the thoughts alive in his mind. And then he writes that these ideas had flashed through his mind, but then died away because he wasn't able to say them. Of course, thoughts can't die. That's again personification. Thoughts aren't alive. And so you can forget a thought, and that's what it means here. So in both instances, there's personification. Okay, and this indicates a turning point in his life because these speeches that he read from this Columbian orator, changed his life. Right, it opened his eyes to the evils of slavery. And I normally only ask you to do 5 of the questions, but since there are 6, I'm going to go over the 6th one. How would Douglass's narrative have been different if he had been born and grown up after the Civil War? Highlight examples from the text and explain how Douglass's life would have been redefined by the Civil War. Write brief annotations to explain your answer. Okay, so his life would have been completely different. So before the Civil War, there was slavery, and after the Civil War, there wasn't. So before the Civil War, he wasn't able to read. So you would go to this first paragraph where he's struggling to learn to read and it's against the law. And after the Civil War, it wouldn't have been that way. And then, um, if he had read a book about slavery after the Civil War, it probably wouldn't have affected him deeply. It would have been something that had happened to someone else, not to him. And so those are good answers for question 6.